On behalf of the Texas Department of Transportation, TxDOT, welcome to the third open house for the US 281 Lampasas to Evant project. This project is located in Lampasas and Coryell Counties. As mentioned, this is the third open house for this project. Previous open houses were held in February and November 2023 and presented preliminary alternatives for public review and comment. Since then, TxDOT has considered the public's input, refined the alternatives, and will now present a preferred route option. Input received in response to this open house will be considered as the project is further developed. We appreciate your interest in the US 281 Lampasas to Evant project and look forward to your continued feedback. November 7, 2000 was the last deathless day on roadways in Texas. That means for over 2 decades, at least one person has died every single day on Texas roadways. We all have a part to play to change that. This message is that reminder to end the streak of deaths on Texas highways. We need drivers and passengers to act more responsibly and help us reach our goal of 0 deaths by 2050. Texans can play a major role in ending fatal crashes with a few simple driving habits. Wear seatbelts, drive the speed limit, put away the phone and other distractions, and never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So please do your part and share this message with your friends and family. This open house has been convened by TxDOT's Brownwood District Office and is being held to receive and consider comments from the public regarding the US 281 Lampasas to Evant project's preferred route. Today's presentation will review the project location, the purpose and need, general project information regarding the preferred route option, and how to submit comments. A key part of this open house is to receive your feedback on the preferred route, which has been determined since the last open house in November 2023. The approximately 28-mile-long US 281 corridor is located in Lampasas and Coryell Counties as noted on this project location map. It spans from US 183 in the city of Lampasas northward to the Hamilton County line in the city of Evant. The widening would conclude at the south end of the town of Evant. The gold line on this map denotes the proposed project area. Improvements to US 281 are being considered in a much longer corridor than just here in Lampasas and Coryell counties. In 2016, TxDOT prepared a US 281 master plan looking at the corridor all the way from San Antonio to Wichita Falls. The 4 goals of the statewide study were to understand corridor travel characteristics, understand existing conditions and constraints involving adjacent communities, address corridor-level needs related to safety, congestion, economic development, and local access, and identify potential long-range and localized improvements. For Lampasas County, the 2016 Master Plan findings included the following. Improvements are needed in the next 5 to 10 years to address safety and mobility needs. Lowering the crash rate was needed on US 281, specifically from Lampasas to north of Adamsville. Additional capacity was needed to meet future traffic demands resulting from population growth and significant truck traffic. The purpose of the proposed project is to enhance safety and improve mobility while addressing long-term needs of the corridor and the demands of a growing population. There is a need to address an aging transportation infrastructure in a state with a rapidly growing population. Originally constructed in the 1930s, improvements on US 281 are needed to continue supporting the growing population in the area and to improve passenger and freight mobility. In addition, the project is needed to manage statewide transportation priorities. To meet the requirements of the Texas trunk system, US 281 is to be improved to enhance mobility, safety, and connectivity between cities with a population of over 20,000 people and major ports and ports of entry. We have continued to research crash information since the last open house. US 281 from Lampasas to Evant had a rate of about 107 total crashes per 100 million vehicle miles from 2013 to 2022, which is about 1.5 times higher than the 2022 statewide average of 68 total crashes per 100 million vehicle miles for rural U.S. highways. Statewide data indicates crashes on undivided highways are 1.6 times more frequent and 1.5 times more likely to be fatal compared to divided highways with grassy medians as proposed in this project. The table shown here indicates a percentage breakdown of the various contributing factors for crashes on this section of US 281. Excessive speed is by far the most frequent contributing factor to crashes at 33%, with distracted driving, animal collisions, and fatigue other factors. Also, no fatalities were associated with crashes involving animal collisions from 2013 to 2022. TxDOT is focused on safety as a high priority in all the work it does. Divided roadways reduce crashes by 43% compared to undivided highways, regardless of what factors contributed to the crash. In terms of safety, there are many benefits of wide medians. The main benefit is a reduction in head-on collisions, which most often result in fatalities or severe injuries. Other benefits include a reduction in headlight glare, a safety area for crossing vehicles, and added space for large vehicles making left turns. Prior to December 16, 2014, the Federal Highway Administration, or FHWA, reviewed and approved documents prepared under the National Environmental Policy Act, known as NEPA. However, on December 16, 2014, the Texas Department of Transportation assumed responsibility from FHWA through a Memorandum of Understanding to review and approve certain assigned NEPA environmental documents. This Memorandum of Understanding between TxDOT and FHWA was updated on December 9, 2019. The review and approval process applies to this project. Environmental studies are being conducted for the project to support an environmental clearance in accordance with NEPA. These environmental analyses are necessary to identify, avoid, and minimize effects to the human and natural environments. Notices for this open house were advertised in the Lampasas Dispatch Record, the 4-County Evant Star, and on the TxDOT.gov website under Hearings and Meeting Schedule. The Brownwood District Public Information Officer also prepared a news media release to advertise the open house in the newspapers previously mentioned and in the Lampasas radiogram. Additionally, notifications were mailed to local elected officials, adjacent property owners, and additional stakeholders or interested parties. A postcard was sent to zip codes within the proposed project area. Project information is also available on the TxDOT.gov website. There are several steps in the project development process. Initial steps, which have been completed, included data collection, constraints mapping, and developing of preliminary alternatives. The preliminary alternatives were presented for public review and comment at the first open house in February 2023. A second open house was held in November 2023, and the refined route alternatives, the relief route options, and results of the initial alternatives analysis were presented for public review and comment. The information presented for preliminary alternatives and the corresponding evaluation are available on the TxDOT Open House Number 2 webpage. At this third open house, now underway, participants will be able to view the preferred route option and provide input. Input received in response to this open house will be considered as the project is finalized. After this open house, detailed project-specific environmental studies and investigations will be performed and required environmental documentation prepared. The existing US 281 typical roadway section within the overall project limits consists of one 12-foot wide travel lane in each direction with adjacent shoulders, no center median, occasional passing lanes, and side ditch drainage. The existing right-of-way width varies along the corridor from 100 feet to 220 feet. About 13 miles of the corridor has one lane in each direction without passing lanes as seen in the first image. Another 10 miles of the corridor has a single passing lane in alternating directions as shown next. The remaining 5 miles of the corridor has passing lanes in both directions as seen at the bottom. The proposed project would improve mobility by constructing additional travel lanes, transforming the highway to 2 lanes in each direction. The project would increase safety by bringing the roadway up to current design and safety standards, which will reduce the potential for head-on crashes and provide a refuge area for those wanting to turn left. Separating northbound and southbound travel lanes with a grassy center median as shown in the typical section at the top of this slide. Note that proposed right-of-way is required on the west or east, or in some cases both sides of the existing roadway. There may also be cases where the proposed right-of-way width is wider to accommodate existing terrain. In the developed areas around Lampasas and Evant, the highway widening consists of a flush paved median that would also serve as a continuous two-way left turn lane as shown by the figure at the bottom of this slide. The preferred route option includes upgrading other safety features such as guardrail, culvert end treatments, and wide safety shoulders. In the most constrained area in the center of Adamsville, the preferred route option will require some additional right-of-way on the west side of US 281 to provide the desirable width for the center two-way left turn lane and wider shoulders, provide sufficient width for more gradual grading and better drainage accommodation through town, and provide a buffer between the sidewalk and travel lanes. The proposed design follows current TxDOT design standards for a 75 mile per hour rural highway. The grades of the original highway built in the 1930s and then widened in the 1960s were designed for 40 miles per hour. Many of the existing low points must be raised and high points lowered. You can see an example of the relative difference in grade between the existing and proposed ground in the top image. The existing side slopes must also be flattened to meet current safety standards, an example of which is depicted in the bottom image. These changes can require significant additional right-of-way width for grading as well as for the realignment of county roads. Widening the roadway on the west and east sides at different points along the existing corridor is reflected in the design example shown on the image here. The preferred route option consists of a flush or paved median in Adamsville that is wider than the paved median considered in the previous alternatives. More than 500 acres of right-of-way is required, impacting more than 160 parcels. Displacement of 9 residences, 3 businesses, and 12 other privately owned structures. Impact to 17 miles of overhead utilities and 1 electric transmission tower. Approximate construction cost of $249 million in current dollars. Please note the preferred route option final design is pending environmental study. To accommodate the desirable width for the center two-way left turn lane and shoulders, and to provide sufficient width for gradual grading and better drainage accommodation through town, plus providing a buffer between the proposed sidewalk and travel lanes, the design through Adamsville was refined. The revised design will require some additional right-of-way on the west side of US 281. The preferred route option will maintain the existing US 281 alignment through Adamsville using a flush median, improve design elements such as wider flush median and shoulders, gradual grading, and better drainage accommodation, requires acquisition of 6 parcels west of US 281 that would displace 6 residences and 2 businesses in central Adamsville. Please note the Adamsville Preferred Route Option final design is also pending environmental study. This slide shows the built and natural environment resources and issues that are being considered. The human environments range from residential and commercial displacements to impacts to historic sites, hazardous material sites, and much more. We have begun preliminary research into existing cultural resources along the corridor, but we also encourage anyone with knowledge of these resources to provide that information to our study team. The natural resources include rivers, streams, creeks, and wetlands, as well as habitat for endangered species such as the golden cheek warbler. Other considerations include feedback from the Adamsville community from a stakeholders meeting that was held in January 2024, where we heard from more than 50 members of that community. Additional right-of-way required to meet current design and safety standards, parcels impacted, and parcels divided or bisected. Following this open house and comment period, we will review public comments and incorporate them into the final preferred route option design to the extent feasible. At this point, we will move forward with preparation of the required NEPA documentation and development of final schematics design. All public comments received during this open house will be fully considered and responded to in the US 281 open house record and made part of the final documentation for this US 281 Lampasas to Evant project. This documentation will then be made available for public review and download on the open house website. Your comments may be provided online, by mail, email, or by voicemail as shown on this screen. Please visit the US 281 Lampasas to Evant project webpage at www.TxDOT.gov and search US 281 Lampasas to Evant, or use your phone or tablet to scan the QR code shown here. Comments must be received or postmarked by Friday, May 17, 2024 to be included in the official documentation for this open house. The public is encouraged to submit or call with questions at any time during the study process. We sincerely appreciate your interest in the US 281 Lampasas to Evant project. We invite you to view the project information available online. Your questions, comments, and concerns will receive careful consideration. Please don't forget to submit your comments by Friday, May 17th, 2024.